Scatter plot. We've got members all the way up into Idaho now. Black is a business. You've got businesses out there that are doing the same business you are. We've got a research lab down here. Blue are auxiliary. Green are members who haven't joined the auxiliary yet. And the red represents a few of our Canadian partners, and the rest are scattered up inside that. This is an older system. What a command center sees, and what you saw from Lieutenant Vigil, is a look at how they manage their assets and resources. Any given controller can double-click on that spot, for instance, to find out who that person is, what their phone number is. It's how we keep track of membership. Yeah, come on. All right, the internet. All right. So there's the menu of who those persons are. So essentially, this is how you're tracked. The system's been updated and modernized. I just don't have those slides. You saw this slide earlier. This is shipping traffic overlaid against the membership locations. That's the Canadian equivalent. That's their Citizens Action Network there. This here is a logo for America's Waterway Watch. Has anybody heard of that before? America's Waterway Watch, show of hands. About 30%. Keep your hands up. For those who have heard of this program, who here can tell me the phone number? Anybody? Anybody, really?
877. Can look it up on my cell phone.
Did you have your hand up, sir? Okay. One person right here. AWW was the Coast Guard's quick congressional answer to establishing citizen engagement. Again, keeping it simple, they made a 1877 reporting number, which they hoped all Americans, every American who stepped foot in the maritime domain would call when they saw something suspicious. So they got dozens of calls when my cousins went fishing in Louisiana with dynamite. Kidding. Only one call. Problem is, most people, most voters can't remember that number. We get bombarded with numbers every day. Most people dial 911. So as far as tracking goes, the numbers aren't robust. My theory is, the problem with having a simple phone number and a concept is, you're not tying into citizens continuously. Pew Research shows that the threat of terrorism on citizens' minds has dropped off significantly since 2004, 2005. You might have seen that trend in the Republican nomination. Rudy Giuliani ran on a platform of national security. Unfortunately, for different reasons, his platform followed the trend line of Americans' concerns about security on down into the cellar. He didn't get the nod. Needless to say, the economy's number one, jobs are number two. Homeland security, as far as a threat goes, is down there pretty far right now. But, for these agencies and the Coast Guard to do our job, we rely on preventative measures, meaning, if we can prevent a search and rescue case, guess what? We have more assets capable of doing homeland security patrols. If we can prevent anything, we're better off with a response capability. If my cutter's burning a fuel, doing something that could have been prevented, if they're waiting to answer the call to something larger or a more important issue, then they're more capable and more effective. If they burned half their fuel in their cruise tire by the time they get a call for a counterterrorism deal, then they're not as effective and as efficient. So again, prevention, response, capability, efficiencies, it all plays into this. Watch State Patrol, we've gotten some good cases with them. Bomb scares on bridges, there's Customs Border Protection, people for Puget Sound. Anybody hear of them? No? They're about 5,000 members strong in this region. They're advocates for marine environmental protection. That's what they live and die for. They hate oil spills. Well, fine. You know what? We hate them too. Join us. So they join us at some level. Channel Police. How many Coast Guard active duty members are there? Anybody want to guess? How many Coast Guard active duty?
At the bottom of your slide.
He's vigilant. There's about 43,000 right now. It's a little bit more than the New York City Police Department. Ask me how far we're spread out. Anybody want to guess? There's Coast Guard in Antarctica. I've been there 3 seasons. I know that. How about the Arctic? Been there too. Asia?
You guys tried to bring us fuel on the research station I was working in 1966.
Did we get there?
No.
Are you still bitter about that?
Yeah, no. He still got goosebumps. And Europe. I had a friend of mine down in Angola, Africa, sent me a photo last week. He was inspecting a U.S. flagged vessel. Okay? Now, of that 43,000, you had administrators, desk writers, non-operational types. You're down to not that many. Okay? I think the ratio is right there. About one Coast Guardsman for every 2 miles of U.S. shoreline. This is what our national footprint looks like, ladies and gentlemen. This is C.A.N, right here. Okay? Believe me, your being here today is very important. Persistency counts. I've never had a budget for C.A.N. I've never had anybody tell me to do C.A.N. But by persistently staying in this place and showcasing the opportunities that you have helped us with, SAR, drug labs, overdues, oil spills, poison canisters, it's hard not to take notice. Okay? I submit to you, if there was a big contractor with some kind of C.A.N machinery, with a big factory contract and everything, we would have been formalized many years ago. That's just speculation, but because we don't cost anything, it's nice to say, oh, great system, but we haven't got a national system just yet. But the good news is, for instance, I'm heading to the Homeland Security Institute next week in Virginia. The Coast Guard has taken notice because of persistency. They are inviting me to take part in some national planning. They have identified you really are the pioneers, as a national best practice. Okay? This style, this system, this simple system, is now being written into the National Small Vessel Security Strategy Implementation Plan. Okay? I got another plan this week with another huge acronym that features y'all. It came from the department and it's being showcased to Congress. Thank you for your patience. I know the system's been imperfect. You might have had SAR cases or cases going on right in front of your doorstep that you didn't get called on. Does that ever happen to anybody? Cases, Coast Guard cases right out in front of your home that you never got called on? Show of hands, really, I'd like to know. About half, okay? So again, it's imperfect. Question in the back.
Yes, one question. Will this program be as effective if it's bureaucratized? It's a serious question.
Great question.
Man, this is not a healthcare thing. Is this one of those angry moms? Well, here's the beauty of it. Okay. A lot of this rests on the capability of a local command. The lieutenant vigils of the Coast Guard, the Coast Guard auxiliary leadership. The auxiliary has been around for 70+ years. They're flexible, they have the community concern in their hearts, and they live in that community. The Coast Guard comes and goes. We come and go every 2 to 4 years. We're in an area, we get to know a few people, we get to know the area, and we leave. The auxiliary stays behind. Again, persistency. They're there, and they're kind of the backbone of this whole network, and that's one of the reasons it stayed aloft for 10 years. This has been going on for 10 years. It's what you make of it at this point, and if you want to avoid bureaucracy, I only hope that bureaucracy comes with funding, formalization. Can we make the network better? Absolutely. Can you improve the notification network? Absolutely. How about training manuals? Sir, can you hold up your training book? How many people have a training book like this?
I like this one.
Wow, very nice. Okay, those came from, the money to get those came from the Coast Guard Innovation Council. Every year the Coast Guard Innovation Council gets together and gives seed money to different aspects of innovation throughout the United States. Most of it's high tech, I'll admit to you. But a couple years ago we did get $50,000. So we made these training books. We thought we cut them a little bit narrow. Sir, can you hold yours up again? Something that you can keep on your windowsill, right? Kind of narrow.
Yes.
Helps you with your reporting. We also got binoculars, night vision, and radio.